Hi there, Tony M0TNI here with a quick guide on how to use the Ham2K Polo app when out activating a bunker. So this is specifically directed towards bunkers on the air, UKBOTA, or even any of the participating schemes in UKBOTA can use this, but it also equally well applies to any other of the portable activation activities that you may do as a ham radio enthusiast. So please, if you're doing POTA or SOTA or any of the others, take a look anyway. That you may well find this is a great help to you on your activation. Now, I just want to say thanks to the developers of Ham2K Polo, and we'll list them all in the credits later on, but just say thank you very much to them for this incredibly invaluable app. I use it on every single one of my mobile and portable activations. I also use it for some other things, such as 145 Alive. In fact, anytime when I'm away from the shack, I want to record a log. I find it just absolutely amazing. So easy to use, flexible, lots of really good tools that added into it recently. So thank you very much to the developers. And just to say, I've got no affiliation with them whatsoever. I'm not one of the developers myself, if only I were that clever. So I have no affiliation. They haven't paid me to do this. They haven't given me any copies or any of those kinds of things. I guess the only affiliation is that I am on the UKBOTA management team as references manager, and also on that team is Stephen Hiscox, who's also on the Ham2K Polo development team. But this is not endorsed by them, and so there's no payment going to me or to them or anything else. A totally independent, not so much review as a guide. So what is this software? Well, Ham2K Polo is basically a portable logging application. That is what the Polo means. And it's useful for any kind of logging where you might want to go portable with your radio kit, but in particular where you're using it in one of the worldwide recognized schemes, peaks on the air, summits on the air, sorry, parks on the air, bunkers on the air, lighthouses, mills, all those kinds of things. It's really useful for logging when you're activating one of those systems, one of those schemes. Just a quick word on hardware. All the screenshots you'll see here that are live are ones which I've done using an iPad Pro Generation 2, so quite an old one now. Any modern tablet will be capable of doing this. I happen to use an iPad. It will work on iPhone, it will work on Android tablets and phones, but it'll also run on Apple Silicon macOS. So if you have a late version laptop, you can run it on there. Entirely up to you. It doesn't as yet run on any other platform. It's meant for mobile use, portable use only. Hence Android and iOS is its main target. Now I'm going to show you some screenshots of me actually doing some of these things, and hopefully that will enable you to see how to actually use and run an activity yourself using the Ham2K Polo app. Launching the app is quite straightforward. Locate the app on your device, whichever it is, click it to launch. You'll see all there the various data files for the on-the-air schemes have loaded up, and that brings you into the home page, the home screen. Plenty of things here to see. Obviously lots of previous activations that I've done. At the top right up here you will see the settings page. Come to that in just a moment. Down to the bottom right is your new operation, which will also go through. The quick call lookup down here is very useful if you want to just have a quick call check for who somebody might be on the air. Just a little thing there down the bottom here with the this menu. This will actually show you the spots, and you can select what you're actually looking at, the kind of spots you're looking at. At the moment we're looking at the 40-meter phone spots that are currently active at the moment. There's a bunker, Belgian bunker there, currently working. We can open up any one of the previous activations, and we can see therefore the logging screen. Lots going on here. Over on the right we have the info page, We can look at spots. We can look at a map of those QSOs and the main operational details. And this is where you'll enter such things as the bunker reference and so on, possibly some POTA and SOTAs that you're using at any one time. Let's just look at the info. It gives you some ideas of what's happened here on this one particular activation, the number of DXCC entities, the fact that it's a UKBOTA and the tick means I qualified it, because if we look over to the top left here, you'll see 30 QSOs. There's the date I did it on, and also here you'll see the green bunker symbol with a tick means the bunker has been qualified. Along the top tells you my operator's details and any details of on the air activation. Down towards the bottom here, current time, current frequency I'm operating on, that needs to be manually entered, my power. If I get a bunker to bunker QSO, I can enter that detail in here. I can self-spot myself and it will automatically enter the current working frequency. I can make notes and also edit more details of that particular QSO. I can add more or remove different things from that bar down the bottom here. The main logging entry is down to the bottom left here, where we type somebody's call sign in, and then you can see that will look them up and various details come up on the right there. I will then hit the tab. I'll go through to my sent RSI and then the received. If I hit tab again, although in actual fact if I just type something in, it will automatically skip because I've set it to do that. And then hitting this nice big arrow here, or the return key if you have a keyboard, that will enter that into the log, which we won't do. We'll just clear that because I don't want that added into that log. Okay, let's go back to the home screen by closing that log down. Okay, there we go. So first thing to think about really is the settings. If we open up the settings, here's our operator call sign. I would advise you fully to put in the call sign which you are actually using on your activation, because that will be what appears in this spotting. But also you need to bear in mind that this call sign is the one which will be uploaded into various logging platforms. And so for instance, QRZ won't allow you to add M0TNI /portable into your M0TNI log. That's just the way it works. A lot of them are similar, so you might have to create a new logbook if you're going to be using a specific portable call sign. Of course, in the UK, that's no longer obligatory, but it does help people to know how you're working. Various other things down here for general settings. Always in light mode. Well, these are just preferences really. Show the numbers row. That will show a numbers row when you're actually using the onboard keypad, the keypad that's built into your device. That's often very useful if your device keypad doesn't natively show numbers, for instance on iPhones and other phones. Various other things you can do there. Yes, do ignore all these messages from UKBOTA here. They're coming through because I've not turned off notifications. Okay, so use metric units, use split views. You notice I had a split view when I looked at the logging page. I had the log on one side, the left, and over on the right. There was the other details, the info, etc. So yeah, that's all there, and you can use that, but only when the screen is large enough. Do check these all out. You might want to change some of those general settings. Logging settings, if you're left-handed, if you want to show country flags, I have them showing because it helps me to understand where they're coming from looking at the log, but it does tell you when you enter their details if you're logged into QRZ. Do you want the sent first or received second or vice versa on your signal report order fields? Here's where I jump to next field on RST entry. As soon as I put 57, 47, it will jump into the received without me having to press a key. Suggest default operator. Yeah, don't use that one too much. That's just natively put on. Bands and modes. Basically, I don't use anything below 40 when I'm portable. I use 20, I don't use 30. I use some of these others, particularly on FT8, and then I might also use VHF. Mostly I'm on SSB, FM and FT8, so that's where I put all of those. Let's just pop back sideways. Okay, that's logging settings. Data settings, this is where all the data files are for instance, UKBOTA. Let's just click on that. I can now select a refresh there. It has downloaded and now it's adding them into the database, and that will be the latest UKBOTA list of bunkers reference list, and you can do that for all of the schemes you're in. Do you want to import some previous data from ADIF? That will help obviously see whether you've had a QSO with that person before or not, or you can clear that data. Okay, we're just going through the basic ones here. Sync settings, there is now a very nice sync system on Ham2K, which allows you to sync between devices. I currently don't do that. Really, I am on the free service, which looks at the last 7 days of changes. Because I only ever use one device, really, I haven't bothered adding to that, but it's a really nice feature if you use more than one device while you are out doing your portable activations. Let's look at accounts and services. QRZ, I would definitely log into QRZ if you've got one. You can put your credentials in there, and then of course it will look up, do a QRZ lookup as you type somebody's call sign in, which helps to know who you're talking to if, like me, you don't remember everybody's name. Of course you get used to quite a few people, don't you? Location-based activities, well, these are the ones I tend to use, more location-based activities: POTA, summits, flora and fauna. Obviously my main interest is in bunkers on the air, a few other things there, but basically they're the ones that will come up in that little logging area where you can say the different location-based activities. Okay, you can see I'm a supporter of Ham2K. I certainly am. I use it so much, it's invaluable as far as I'm concerned. February, this is just about the patch. You can check for updates here if you wish. No updates are available. Tells you about the recent changes. Credits, all the amazing people who've added into this piece of software. There's our own Steve Hiscox, great guy, does so many things for the ham community. Any recent notices? Read the fine manual. Please do read the manual. The manual has a wealth of information, and you will almost certainly find the answer to your question there. And you'll find out so much more about using the app than I'll tell you in this video. The Ham2K forums, that's a really great way. There we go, pops it up onto, when it loads it, pops it up onto Safari. That's really great if you want to ask a few questions, any things you don't know quite what's going on, or for reporting maybe some bugs. There is also a chat on the Discord server if you want to use that. YouTube, all of the other social media options are available. Okay, now we're going to move on to setting up the app to actually activate a bunker, doing some logging, and then also exporting the log afterwards for upload into the UKBOTA or Worldwide BOTA web pages, so that you can actually get your points for doing the activation, and also for all the bunker to bunker activities you've hunted as well. Okay, let's get into actually setting up. Setting up to activate a new bunker is quite straightforward. We select new operation. That opens a new logging screen for us. If we've saved any templates, then we could select them here. I'm going to select my template for operator M0TNI portable and template for nearest UKBOTA. Now you'll see it's immediately filled in some details here on the operation information. Station and operator, my location, which is actually correct. Any operational details I might want to add, we will do that manually. Also the work tool Britain Square. But you see it's automatically put in here in the activities, this River Welland pillbox cluster for the UKBOTA. That's because that's the nearest one to the centre of this Maidenhead Square. It's actually not the one that's nearest to me. In fact, if I delete that, you'll see the nearest one to me is the Crowland Auxiliary Unit Operational Base. I'm at my home QTH at the moment, so we'll add that one in. I'm only doing the one bunker. I'm not in the overlap area, so I can't add the other one. So we'll say yes to that. And now you'll see under the operation details, UKBOTA Bravo Golf 2531 is the one I'm on. That's okay, so that's all now ready set. Do I want to add a work tool Britain? I can. The current square is actually right in this instance, but do check before you add that. And that's now okay. So you see my current work tool Britain square is here. When I'm operating, and certainly when I'm shouting CQ, then basically I usually have this operational data window open here on the right, because I can instantly see my grid if anybody wants it. I can instantly see my work tool Britain square because I've added that in if that's asked for. Sometimes I'll announce it in my CQ call, sometimes I won't, but I know people like to collect those, so I've got it available and ready. Yes, I do have the bunker reference here in that data area, but also at the top here, as I said earlier, there's my operator's call sign and the bunkers, and if there would be multiple bunkers, they would all be listed there. So when you call CQ or if somebody asks you to confirm your bunker numbers, they're all there at the top of the screen, and you can read them off without having to fumble through anything. Let's look a little bit further down here on the operational data screen. We can see manage operation logs. That's where we import and export any data into this log, so more on that later. We can use this current setup as a template. I've done that in the past, so I already have my nearest bunker template already available. And then right down the bottom is what's called the danger zone. Delete this whole operation. If you delete that, everything goes. So if you've made a mistake in the setup and you think, I don't want that in my list of logs, just delete it and start again. All very straightforward. Okay, so first thing I'm going to do actually is I'm going to go and look at the spots page, because to be quite honest with you, I think it's nice to help people out. I like people to give me bunker to bunkers and so on. So basically I'm there looking to see, is there a bunker that I can grab? And yes, there is a bunker that I can grab. It's a Belgian bunker. I like to collect those as well. Also like to help out our friends in Belgium, in all the European countries, or even further afield when we can. So I will just click on that bunker, and it automatically down the bottom here fills in the call sign. You'll notice it's also filled in his frequency. It's filled in the details here, which it's grabbed from that post on the cluster, and if we click on the bunker to bunker, you'll see the number is already there. So I would then call him, hopefully he would come back to me, and I would then tab over to my sent. Thank you very much, Willie. Yeah, you usually come through at 5.9. How are you receiving me? Okay, 5.7, because I'm only on the G90, so only 20 watts, but that's usually okay. And then once I've filled in those details, I will either push this button here on the screen, or in my case, I will hit the return key because I'm using an external keyboard, and there he is. Okay, interestingly, so it's put him in there. We can click on him and we can edit those details if we got something wrong. We can bin the whole QSO if we need to, if we've again done something wrong and want to put it in again, or for any other reason that it's invalid, we can bin it. If we bin it and we then hit the bin thing, the bin symbol, you'll notice it's stricken out. It's still in the log. hasn't gone away, but it's stricken out, because I can actually come back to that and unbin it with that button, and then hit the, I think that's meant to be like a floppy disk or something, isn't it? But that's the save button, or the return, and save it back in. Let's just have a quick look and see. So we got that off of the spots and the map. Well, obviously we now have one contact, so there it is on the map there, and it's already in the log. So let's say we've gone through all of the spots. We've got what we can from there. We've helped people out with their activations, bunkers or whatever. And now we want to go back to calling CQ. Let's go back to operational mode on this right hand screen, which, as you'll see, I can actually make bigger or smaller on my iPad because I've got plenty of screen real estate. Okay, I've searched for a clear frequency. Let's find my clear frequency. At the moment, 7120 is nice and open, so I can type it in there. Alternatively, I can type the frequency down here in the call sign. That's one of the useful shortcuts. Let's put 7125 in there, change frequency, either hit the input button or return on your keyboard, and now you'll see on your 125. That's the frequency I'm going to be operating on. Right, what do I want to do? There we go, operation stats, just one QSO. What do I want to do? I want to call CQ, but even more than that, maybe I want people to come straight back at me. Maybe I want to do an activation where I don't spot myself and somebody else spots me. I can get some bunker tier points for that, for instance. But actually, often the quickest way through is to go on here and type in maybe a few details. I might type, for instance, the worked or Britain square. If somebody, if I'm thinking other people might want to chase that worked or Britain square. I might be doing the historic counties and put Lincolnshire in there, and that information should go on to the cluster. But at the moment, basically, I haven't got anything else like that, and in actual fact, I'm not going to self-spot because, of course, I'm not actually going to run this as a real activation. Okay, I've shouted CQ. Various people are coming back to me. Who might come back to me? 2 Echo 0 Fox Echo Hotel. Carl, there he is. Always great to get Carl. Saltash, I know Saltash well. Used to drive through it quite a lot on my way to Cornwall, and basically type in his key sign, his call sign. Hit return straight, hit tab straight onto the sent RST. He's usually around a 5-6-ish. He can be more than that. He might give me the same. I'll hit 5-6. You notice it's popped back here to the call sign area. That's okay. You might want to modify that. But basically, once you've got those details in, you can hit the input button or you can hit return, and there he is. He's now in the log. Let's have a look at the map. We can see the map there. Yeah, okay, there he is. Let's just zoom that a little bit so we can see him better. There we go. A couple of nice QSOs there. Okay, and that really is that. That's the simplicity of doing an activation using Polo. It's as simple as that. I find it's made easier with a keyboard. Some people use the on-screen keyboard. I find it's easier on a larger device like a tablet rather than on a phone. The phone's fiddly, but you know the phone is there. If that's all you've got in your pocket, then that's what you're going to use, isn't it? Is there anything else more to say here? Yes, there's a lot of really interesting things you can do. As I would say, please make sure you read the manual, because there's a number of things which you'll find in there which you might find very interesting. Let me show you one in particular, some shortcuts. Here we go. Let's say I heard an M8. I don't know who the M8 was, but I also heard, that's not that, and I also heard ... There we go, 2 Echo 0. If you only hear a partial call sign, you can stack them. And the way you stack between call signs is to either hit the slash button twice. Perhaps there's an M0 in there. No, it's not M0TNI, it might be somebody else. It's probably somebody like M0 ICR. He's a guy we know quite well, isn't he? Carl. You can then log Carl, and he's always a 5.9. He's got a very good setup. He'll also give me a 5.9. And now if I hit the return or click the input button, it will only add that first one, and it will go back to the other 2 Echo 0. Who was the tier 2 Echo 0? Victor Papa X-Ray, Andy, there he is. Again, he's really close to me normally. It might be a 5.7 both ways. Let's input him at 5.7, and now it's gone back to M8. Which M8 do we always hear? Nick, good old Nick. Great to get him in the log. Really nice guy. Love to have a quick chat with him if I find him there. He's up and down because of his location and relatively close to me. I don't know, it might be 5.7 both ways, and that's really good. So that's called stacking. You stack by putting in whatever you did, GRV. I don't know, maybe you only ever heard the last half, and then 2 dots or 2. That was dots I touched there, or 2, so periods, spots, or 2 slashes, and then the next one. Put them all in there and then work backwards. So that enables you then to say, right, I did hear a G4, right, who was GRV? Very, very useful when you've got a massive pile up and you don't quite know how to work through that. So that's really good. You can do that, that's fine. You can do all kinds of things like that. Do look at the manual and you'll find lots of other things. Obviously you might want to change frequency, lots of QRM, Italian stations. Oh gosh, no, they wouldn't do that. Let's move down to 7120. Hit 7120 in there and away you go. The other shortcut I use all the time is at the end of my operation, I will type QRT in there, and then when it says, as you can see here, self-spot with QRT, and then as soon as I hit the input or the return, that will then send QRT to the cluster and then turn my spot to ended, finished, or whatever, and at that point it will no longer appear in the spots. I spotted myself, my own station would appear over here in this list in a different highlighted color. I think it comes up as this brown on my particular device here. What else might you want to do? You might want to edit that one of those things. Maybe you've come back and thought, actually, no, something was wrong with that QSO. I want to change it. You can edit it as we saw before, and then just hit the save button down here. You might also want to spot another activation. Let's say somebody's called us here, or we've heard somebody that's not on the spotting list, and they've said park to park, bunk to bunker, or whatever. Who might that be? It could be anyone, a number of people, but it might be Carl. Let's use Carl as another example. He's moved on. He's now /P. Not exactly a whole new QSO in terms of bunkers counts, but he's now at, let's go to, he's now at bunker, and Bravo Golf is there. Okay, in fact, I know he's at Bravo Golf 1, 2, 3, 4. You'll see I typed in 1, 2, 3, 4 and it assumed Bravo Golf. Okay, it assumes Bravo Golf because it knows Carl is in England. Obviously we've got M0 ICR there. Let's change and modify Carl's call sign to Mike Whiskey. Okay, Mike Whiskey. Now if you look here, it's now assumed that he is in Wales. How neat is that? So you never have to type in, or rarely should I say, have to type in the whole Bravo /Golf Whiskey hyphen. I can now type in 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, let's just move up to the correct field. I can now type in 1, 2, 3, 4, and it's given me Bravo Whiskey 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe is it a double bunker? Stick in a comma, hit 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 5, all in there. Okay. And so that all happens nicely. We can then log that using the input button. We can also spot that QSO. So we would now be spotting, if I hit the spot button, it was not self-spotting anymore, it's now spotting that QSO. And so it's spotting MW, Mike Whiskey 0, India Charlie Romeo, spotting him at those 2 bunkers in Wales. That is so easy, isn't it? Doesn't that help us all out to do our spotting? Let's just actually delete all of that because that's not what we're doing at all. So that's another useful tool, is to spot another activation. Okay, let's say we've been through all that and we've got our 25 plus QSOs. Hopefully you don't stop at 25. You carry on until, if you like, the frequency or the band dries up. Maybe you'll try another band. Maybe you'll go digital and try and work as much as you can into this bunker, especially when you're on any particular special events. There'll always be people who perhaps can't quite get to the radio or want a different mode or a different frequency. If you can, try and do that. Don't just kind of hit and run. Sometimes you might want to do a hit and run if it's like how many bunkers in a day, but that's just another thing entirely. So let's say we've got our full set of QSOs and we've done all the bands we want to do. Oh look, there's somebody just popped up. Who's popped up there? G0KAO. There he is. Click on him. There's Paul. He's come up. Where's he? He's at the heavy anti-aircraft battery in Leeds. Nice to see Paul there. It would be great to work him. Maybe when I finish making this video, I'll pop back and do that. Really nice. You see how live that is when it comes up and down. So again, you finished your quota, as it were. Pop back and have a look at the spots and see if anybody else is in there. Take a look at your map. How's that doing? And so on. Okay, at the end, what do you want to do? Well, one of the things you will definitely want to do if you want to get any bunker points, either on bunkers, or whether you want to upload to parks on the air, SOTA, all those kinds of things, is you will need to export your data. So down here, bottom right, let's just click on Manage and Export. Now, here's the really good thing. It's already selected the portable operations file that it's built for me. It has made a full ADIF export, but one of the really useful aspects is it has made a file, an ADIF file, or will make an ADIF file, which is specific to bunkers on the air. That is just great. That file is guaranteed when you upload it to either UKBOTA or UKBOTA. That file is guaranteed to be accepted into the scheme and get you all the points you need, both points for activating and also, if you've done bunker to bunkers, points for hunting as well. If you'd done POTA, SOTA, etc., there would be separate files here in this area for you to export, and they would be pre-ticked. But you can select which one it is or any multiples that you actually want to export. And then we export that. Let's say click export one selected file. Okay, basically number of places you might want to store these. Just for the sake of convenience, and because I've got PCs and Macs and iPads and everything, I store all of my radio calls or QSOs, logs, etc. on OneDrive. So let's select OneDrive. I've got this set up so hopefully on the first level in Files you should be able to see portable logs. There we go, and there's my portable logs. You can't see the logs, but you can see my different subfolders that I might have. There's my French expedition last year, and then tell it to upload here, the place where you want that to be. There it is, uploading, and it gives you a useful name that you can then see. Okay, that's the end. I've exported those. Something I might want to do before that, of course, again looking at the import and export, is I might want to add QSOs from another file. For instance, if I have done some FT8 and the FT8 app has saved that file somewhere else, let's add some QSOs from an ADIF file. Let's open that up again. Okay, I'm on OneDrive. Let's go to Files, let's go to Portable Logs, because I will have saved in here. Let's just change that a little bit. There we go. There's my WSJTX log, not from today, but it's one I've actually put in there. So I'm now importing that, and if we go back to the main log, it was on a different day. But you can now see that those at the top here, those 9 QSOs from that app are all there. What I then like to do is to click on each one, resave it, and then it adds in all the extra data that Ham2K Polo likes to have, which automatically, if you like, adds in all the data that you really want to have when you upload that. Let's go to the next one, save. So when you upload these to the worldwide Bunkers on the Air or UKBOTA databases to get your points, by going through these and resaving them, that will make sure that all the data you need for those will be there, apart from, let's say MI7, let's say Gareth's was actually a bunker to bunker. That bunker to bunker detail probably won't be in there in that file. So you will have to add that detail in manually before you save it here. And then obviously now we have all of those. If we look at our map, they're all in there, and we go back to operational logs, and now we can export that log as a full log with all of our QSOs. Right, so we've done our activation. Maybe when we've got home, or maybe when we're out on the road, the next thing we want to do is to upload those QSOs, upload that log to UKBOTA so that we can get the points for the activation, and also of course the points for any hunting we've done, any bunker to bunkers that have happened during our activation. That's quite straightforward. I'll show you how to do that right now, again using screenshots and capture from the iPad where I've actually made all of my logging. Okay, so uploading your logs to UKBOTA on to WWBOTA is actually simplicity itself. You need to be logged into the ukbota.net website, ukbota.net. You need to be logged in, as I say. Obviously you need an account to log in. That's all covered elsewhere. You need to set those up before you even start on this journey. Okay. We're all logged in, so that's okay. We go to Bunker Base 2, we go to the Activator dashboard and we click on that. That then logs us into that page. Let's scroll down. There's all of our information about our future, so our past activations. If we scroll down, this is the important part, the upload your log. These fields through here should all be clear before we start. If not, we can clear all down at the bottom. Let's choose a file. We know from previous work that my files are all here in this logging area. Let's look for, I think we'll go for this one. Now I will have to delete this because I've already uploaded it. So this will have to be deleted after I've given you this view. Interestingly, okay, the reason I chose this one is because it's got a UK bunker to bunker. So when I submit this, it will show us, yes, there it is, a bunker to bunker. I will now upload that. I will have to delete it later on. Here we go. And it will then take me on to the upload your bunker to bunker hunters. If we now click on upload to bunker and WWBOTA, that will now done. That's all done. We have now done that a second time, and that has now uploaded my hunted files as well. So I've now uploaded my activation and also any hunted bunkers that were in there. Let's go back to the Activator dashboard and we can check that all out by looking at my Activator logbook. Loading all up, yeah, quite a few QSOs, sorry about that everybody, and there it all is. Actually, it hasn't added a second one because it knows I've already uploaded the Bravo Golf 0028, and it obviously collates them and adds them together for the month. So there you go, you can add some more things in. It's not duplicated that, so I'm okay. Come back down here, yes, still 23 bunkers in 9 different counties, so it's not changed my score there. The system is clever enough to allow for stupidity like double uploads. So that's how to upload and get your points on the UKBOTA, WWBOTA web pages, and that's what you need to know for that. So that really is the whole process from start to finish. Launching the app, setting it up for general use, and then setting up a bunker, recording all your QSOs, exporting them to a file, a file which is specially made for UKBOTA, and then importing that into the UKBOTA and UKBOTA pages to get your points and to record all of your QSOs and also any hunted bunkers that you got bunker to bunker. Rather a long video. I hope you can come back and take a look at one bit after the other, maybe pause and take a look at some things, try it out on your own device, because then next time when you go out and activate a bunker, you'll be ready to use the app and it'll just become second nature. It's so easy. A real help when you get a pile up. There's so many tools and extra bits you can use, shortcuts and so on. Do explore every single part of this app that you possibly can. So I've said there's help in the help file, in the manual. There's forums for checking and asking questions, but obviously look in the manual first and you'll soon find this is such a useful addition to your portable kit. Okay, thanks very much. I'm Tony M0TNI saying thank you for looking at my video. I hope it's been a help. Do put some comments down below and let me know what you think of it. It'll be good to hear those. Thank you. Take care, everybody, and best 73s.